Sorry.
That's all right.
He's back.
It keeps going out. It's raining really hard and thundering here.
We had that earlier. I had a lot of thunder and lightning and rain earlier, but not right now.
I put my hotspot on, so it should be better.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see. Should we do some music and then talk about what we're going to talk about? or should we just hang out today? We don't have a plan. Lauren and I had a meeting yesterday with the client. We were talking about doing, like, I don't know, a change management discussion.
I think we could just talk about that, record it. I mean, and just say, like, this is a conversation that we want to have, and maybe bring some guests and, you know, like, kind of introduce the topic.
Okay. Yeah.
We can, like, talk about our own experiences in change management. I mean, change is constant.
Okay. And then
that's one thing that's reassuring.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Can y'all hear that?
Nope.
No?
Dance for us, Shayne.
There we go.
Right to the top. From the top. I got to learn these Terra moves. I got some junk in my background.
What is it?
Okay. Sweet.
Grace.
That was good.
Yeah, man. Never mind. My construction project.
Is it your
was never ending.
Construction project? Or?
Well, I bought a screen door for the back door, a new screen door. I had an old crummy screen door, and I got a new one. It's fancy. It's nice, but
yeah,
I haven't put all the pieces together yet.
Yeah.
I should have. The hurricane rolled through this week. It would have been good to get that screen door up before the hurricane rolled through. But it wasn't too bad. You just got some rain down here.
Yeah, it was wet. It's still wet. It's like it's rainy today. I think it's gonna rain a lot this weekend.
Y'all didn't have any damage or trees or anything like that?
No wind, really. I mean, it really was not bad. Now, my best friend's dad has a house on Ocean Isle, and that's where it hit. But he too didn't really have much in terms of his property.
In Wilmington, and they had like a couple trees and stuff down, but nothing too terrible.
Yeah, that's good.
Seems like I talked to somebody in Maine, or they knew somebody in Maine who had flooding. No, I think I talked to somebody in Maine who had flooding, massive flooding up there. It was weird.
Never good.
I bet they're not used to also. No, well, not that like the people aren't, but like the environment's not used to that amount of downpour.
Yep. Because it went pretty quick. Like once it rolled, it rolled on up there through the Northeast pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So.
I think today is National IPA Day.
I was informed of this.
I thought it was last week. I thought it was last week.
I would have grabbed an IPA.
Hilarious. No, I don't drink IPAs. I do not drink IPAs.
I think it's today. According to the local brewery that I go to, it said it was. I don't know. So I got another one. So, you can celebrate twice in 1 month.
Let's see which one you're drinking.
Well, I got another Voodoo Ranger because we bought that big pack. So I got the Experiment.
You had that last time?
Yeah, I think it's what I had last time.
Oh.
That's
ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Holzer with the Voodoo IPA.
I have another Polish beer that my in-laws left, a Tiski. It is very delicious.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tara Pawlowski with the Tiski. Tara with the Tiski. Very nice. I'm going to confess. I love this beer.
I love that watermelon.
Yeah, man.
So good.
It's refreshing. But I haven't opened it yet. I just let you in on a secret. I overdid it last night. So I'm like barely rolling into this podcast hour. You guys are carrying the
Miller High Watermelon is like pink lemonade. of beer.
It is.
The good
you
one.
You might be talking me into it. All right.
Fight through.
It's
easy enough to fight through with.
Shayne,
right,
do tell what you did last night.
Oh, I just met up with a friend and overdid. I mean, good Lord. I'm just a lightweight. That's all there is to it. And
yeah.
I don't recover well.
So actually, someone on our team told me about this hangover cure, and it works. I will send it to you.
Tell us.
Is it Drip Drop?
Called, no, but that's an amazing name. I would like to try Drip Drop.
The marketing on that is brilliant.
Yeah. What is it called now? Let me pull it up on my Amazon. But it's a little like bottle of something. It's like a little tincture, I guess you could call it. And it you take it like before you start drinking and before you go to bed, like right after you're done drinking. And I'll tell you what, I haven't had any hangovers anytime I've ever used it.
Heck yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to tell us like some old, like you steam cabbage and then you like
Now the only thing about this is you do have to be proactive. Like it has to happen before you're, like feeling bad. Like you have to be like thoughtful when you're going to bed. Like, oh yeah, let me take that real quick. Let me find it.
Generally speaking, I don't drink enough water. So that's another problem I have is if I just drank more water, I probably wouldn't have these crummy next day situations.
It was either on Prime or Netflix, but they were doing all these like experiments with alcohol. And it's like the group that had alcohol ate more snacks at the table. The group that like didn't have actual alcohol didn't eat as much. And there was one about the water intake. And so many people think it depends on like body mass, which to a certain extent it does, but also like how much water you have and just kind of like keeping that flowing is also something that they were talking about, which I thought was cool.
That's interesting.
Where did you see that?
I think it was Netflix or Prime. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
It was some like British scientist that was doing some of these like just trials with, your everyday Joes.
We need to put that in the show notes. Let us know the name of it and we'll put it in the show notes.
All right. The thing is called Morning Recovery.
Okay.
A little thing.
We got lots of reference points for
get
today.
it on. You get it on Amazon. I buy it in packs of 12. I mean, like, I go through it in like a year, like.
Okay. I thought you were going to say I go through it every month.
No.
Package a month.
Well, with coronavirus, I did go through 12 in 6 months, but I mean, it's like, if you're drinking heavy, you're just going to take one,
Yeah.
I find that like
sugar-free.
I don't like the sugar-free one as much.
Oh, gotcha. There's a sugar-free and then there's a regular.
The lemon original.
Oh, there we go.
The show is on Netflix and it's The Truth About Alcohol.
Ooh,
An emergency room doctor endeavors to learn the truth about alcohol, both its benefits and its risk, by exploring the science of drinking.
All right. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going to just have it bookmarked here.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like since the pandemic started, I feel like it's been like sort of more like just casually drinking at home, like, and you might have a few drinks over hours, but it's like spread out. I feel like that makes a huge difference. If you're spreading it out and then you're drinking water in the meantime and you're eating, all of that matters. If you do it on an empty stomach though.
It's all in how it metabolizes too.
Yeah, it is.
Did you say it was on Prime?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Okay. The truth or the science?
The truth of, now I got to find it again.
Well, I looked on Netflix. It's not coming up for me.
Hold on. The truth about alcohol.
I misspelled alcohol. So dumb.
That may do it.
Okay. Well, anyway.
I want to try. Have you guys seen these liquid? We probably need to stop talking about hangovers, but you guys try those liquid IV things? It's basically like a pouch of electrolytes.
I mean, I get those on like the reality shows with all the famous people that like go get their IV to hydrate for.
Oh yeah. Well, this is, you put it in your water and like you drink it. But I think I would like it for like, if you're, like it gets hot here. Like, and you can get dehydrated being outside for a long period of time. Like, I think I'd like it for that. Like, going downtown for the afternoon, taking a long walk, like you can get, I don't know, dehydrated. I want it for that.
Sure.
Like Gatorade, but it's not Gatorade.
It's like adult Pedialyte, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
I'm a fan. I did actually drink some Pedialyte this morning, but I probably should have had two doses. Anyway, what was me?
When I get my roller skates, y'all, I'll let you know about all the electrolytes because I'll be out there roller skating.
I can't wait to see those roller skates. I cannot wait.
In October.
I'll
let you know.
They're coming in.
That's good, Tara. So we were thinking about what to talk about today, and Shayne and I have been talking with a few clients about, just change and taking on a new product, taking on a new staff member, change in general. And if there's anything that's constant, especially in the nonprofit industry, it's change. And a lot of nonprofits really, this is sort of timely because you're facing a time of change, right? There might be cuts in staff. There might be changes in the way you're doing programming. And we thought maybe we could talk a little bit today about change management and have that be something that we follow up in a couple episodes to talk about different ideas, different concepts, maybe different organizations that have experienced change that have really found a good groove with how to adopt change.
Yeah. And I think now that I just remembered what prompted this topic we were talking about yesterday, Lauren, was we were meeting with one of our clients, one of my favorite clients. They're just so sweet and amazing and smart and hardworking. And one of the people we were talking with uses Razor's Edge, has used Razor's Edge version 7 for a long time. Is very comfortable with it and confident about, she knows where to go to get her information. And she believes in the information because she's had her hands putting it in there and everything. So she now has the NXT WebView version, and she just doesn't believe it. It's the same information. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, she used those words. I don't trust that information. It's exactly the same information. It's, everything she was describing, what I was hearing loud and clear was, this is out of my comfort zone. And I just haven't embraced it, So yeah, we started thinking, gosh, how do we help people,
embrace change?
Yeah, embrace the change, embrace the benefits of a new and improved system. I get it too. I mean, I get frustrated. I guess I'm impatient, because I want to get that answer. I want to look up that account and look up that piece of information. I know right where to get it in the old version, and I'm going to spend 10 or 15 minutes fumbling around in the new version. Drives me crazy, So if I would just take the extra time to find it in the new version, ultimately it would probably save me time,
Mm-hmm.
So it's given it just that little extra effort that will actually pay off if I embrace the new platform, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think part of change is taking the leap, right? Like kind of committing to it and knowing you're going to commit to it. Because if you are on the fence, it's not going to be adopted. You're not going to change. Let's say you're evaluating maybe a new program that you want to do. Like you kind of just got to get all in, right? And like you got to do it. And I think the same is to be said of software. If you think that you can find more efficiencies in a new software or a change in your software, even the change in your process in your software, you kind of have to go all in. However, I would say that I think it's overwhelming for some organizations to bite it all off at once, right? And I get that. It's hard for me too as well. So I was thinking, and Shayne and I were talking, like maybe a good strategy would be going in and getting a group together, right? And it could be everybody that uses the software and saying, all right, listen, this week, all of us are going to take the training on, let's say the Work Center and Razor's Edge NXT, for example. We're going to take the training on Monday. All week, we're going to use that Work Center. We're going to force ourselves to be in there. And on Friday, let's meet and talk about our challenges, our wins, some things we like, some things we were having, struggles with. And then the next week, also commit to using the Work Center. Now, you could use anything else throughout the day, right? You want to pull reports from the database view, pull the reports from the database view, but try to commit to one little piece. And then every 2 weeks, kind of bite off another one. All right, I'm going to start using constituent profile. Everybody's going to take the training on constituent profile. We're all going to do that for those 2 weeks. And I think doing it collectively together and meeting together is a big part of it. So Yeah. And not to be too verbose about this, but Tara is on my team. We recently kind of did some changes with the way that we do some stuff in our presentations to our clients. And what we did is we kind of just took little pieces of what we do, and we all met together. We chatted about it. Then we went off on our own. We tried it out, and then we came together and had a conversation. And I think that really helped us all like enlighten ourselves about how we were doing things. It showed us some stuff that we hadn't thought of before. And it also reinforced some things that we all collectively agreed, but we weren't able to like verbalize it or something on our own.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like a lot of it is just, you've got to work together as a team. Like it has to be a collaborative effort.
Yes.
And part of it, I think, is you have to block off the time for, I'm going to learn or I'm going to explore. Like I like to get in there, get my hands on things and kind of play around. And I think you have to make time for that, or you're always just going to do the way you know.
Yep.
Which could be 2 hours longer than what it needs to be. And so even when I was using, the database view, because NXT wasn't around, there were ways that I just knew to do things, and I stuck with it for the longest time until it was like, there's got to be an easier way. You ask someone, commit to, okay, let me figure out that process. Oh my gosh, how much I regret like hours of time that I was wasting where I'm like, why didn't I do that sooner?
Yeah.
And so I think you just have to, give yourself a chance and see that it can be easier and, give it a whirl, like even a lot of times it's limit the security where you can play, but you can't hurt anything. Cause a lot of times people
That's a good
are
idea.
out like, I'm going to break something. And it's like, sometimes you just got to get in there, but that's when you lock down that security. So you can't accidentally delete a record or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Tara. Like you can create your own playpen almost that day. I like that idea. Well, as Blackbaud clients, you have quite a few resources. You have knowledge base, you have training, and you could purchase a training package if you don't have one. And then you also have the community. Go into the community. There's actually a lot of videos about adoption and adopting any of our software, any solution you might be using. And those are pretty helpful. A lot of them have some helpful tips. And then if you still feel stuck, you can reach out to Shayne and we will be able to help you. But I do think a lot of the resources can be consumed that Monday morning, and then that week you kind of just commit to it.
Yeah.
One thing that was helpful for me, I mean, here in Chicago, obviously a lot of folks using Razor's Edge, and conveniently I was in grad school, so I had a pocket of people all in the nonprofit world like myself. But there was a group of us that would meet for lunch once a week. So think about your networks, and some of that can be built through the community of just talking to people where, I was an office of 3. So being able to talk to someone who is that DBA, who has to do all the behind the scenes and actually understand it and say, no, that is how you have to do it. Or, oh my gosh, you haven't heard of Batch, or, whatever it is, where, sometimes you're describing to your director or a major gift officer and they're just like, yeah, just produce whatever, just get the reports. Like they don't care how you make the sauce. Right. And so sometimes you just need like those folks to lean on that, like, get it. And like that encouragement from others is also helpful.
Yeah. That definitely keeps the job more fun if you can get together with your peers and share ideas. And, even if you're not solving every single problem, just to commiserate a little bit, makes life better in some ways. I like what you said, Tara, that, I say this often to clients, if you're sitting there working in Razor's Edge and it goes through your mind, man, there's gotta be a better way. There probably is. Like 9 times out of 10, you're not doing it the most efficient way. And somebody just needs to show you one little thing. And that's really what this podcast is about. But, just reach out for help. A lot of times I've found that if I just go to Google, I get better results than if I go to knowledge base. It might even take me to a knowledge base article, but I have better luck with the Google search engine than I do inside the Blackbaud website. I hate to admit that, but that's just the reality of it. I remember really clearly this one visit I had with a client. It was a room full of people. They had been using Razor's Edge for 3 or 4 years. They owned the training subscription, which one cool thing about that training subscription, it's all you can eat. Everybody in the organization can take as much training as they want. Well, one lady on the front row was just going on and on and on about how frustrated she was with this inefficient process and how many hours a week she was spending doing it this way. And I said, have you taken the training? And she was like, no, I don't have time for that. I said, well, you just literally told me you're spending hours and hours a week and you're doing it, you know, you're not doing it the most efficient way. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to be hurting your feelings, but you should take the training, you know? Anyway.
Sometimes
it's important to pause, you know,
point it in the right direction too. Like you said, maybe it's that checkbox that's causing the problem, or, you know, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true. So I have a personal change story that's happening right now in my life. Reporting in the current CRM we have at Blackbaud is very difficult, and I'm afraid of it. And forever, I would just go to my manager and ask her to pull reports. Well, I'm already a needy enough person with my manager. So I was like, you know what? I need to figure this out. And so this month, like in July and now, I've committed myself. Like if there are reports, I'm pulling them on my own. I'm trying it on my own. And then if I get stuck, I ping her and I show her what I did. And honestly, sometimes it's just a little tiny tweak. Like it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I know it's not change, but it's adoption. And I feel like liberated now that I've just tried it. And so I'm dedicating time every week to just go in there and mess with some of it. And I feel a lot better, honestly, because I knew that there's a lot of good stuff in there, but I couldn't pull it and I felt uninformed. Right. So
well,
that's my personal story.
Yeah.
So when you rely on somebody else, it's kind of that crutch, right? Like you're never going to let go if they're always going to be there to answer your questions as well. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you just got to take the leap and get in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel the same, Lauren. I got to go into our internal system and embrace it more. Quit using all my little side spreadsheets where I keep all my notes and stuff. It's a shame. And so I guess we ought to follow our own advice here. I should follow the advice we're talking about.
Well, and as Tara mentioned, I did reach out to a person here at Blackbaud who pulls a ton of reports. And I was just like, can you 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, like high points. And he did. And it actually helped a lot. So if you do have a colleague that's maybe using the software that you're using, 10 minutes can help pretty much define how you adopt that little part of it. So if you have, like Tara said, you know, meeting with those people, I think is super helpful. We don't realize how big our networks are until we start reaching out to them. That's something I learned this year for sure.
Well, and I think you can't, like, people are willing to help. Like sometimes you got to ask. I feel like, you know, now it's like that can be applied across the board with COVID, everything else is going on, but like people are there to help. That's what your friends are for, your colleagues. And sure, there may be someone here and there that's not super excited to sit down and help you, but I would say a majority of them will be.
Yeah. And if you're talking 10 minutes, that's a pretty good number. If you said, I need about an hour and a half of your time, you're like, well, maybe next month.
3 days.
Yeah.
I'd like 3 days.
3 days, please.
I'll just come sit next to you with a mask on. Yeah, I think that everybody wants to help. And also I think when a lot of people see, oh, no, I got that. Like now with the reporting thing, I'm like, oh, no, I can help you. I figured this one thing out, so you can do this one and like I'm excited to share that knowledge and also help people get over that hump that I had trouble getting over. So
spread the love, spread the knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, change is hard, and I think communication is key. You have to communicate across your team. I think you have to be committed to the change, and I also think you just have to give yourself some grace. Like, you know what? I didn't get it today. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Like, and go back tomorrow and try it.
Yeah.
You know, something I've also, and this is maybe something for another day, but something I've also noticed about clients who are afraid to change or who have trouble changing, and maybe it's not even a fear thing, it's just, you know, they're just having a hard time really tackling it, is that I feel like they're just not focused on the change. You know what I mean? It's like
it's not their priority.
It's not priority. Yeah. There's 9,000 things.
Yeah. It goes back to your first bullet point. You got to commit and then everything else trickles in place. It's a mindset for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think it's easier to commit if you just pick that one thing and say, for the next 2 weeks,
So
I'm committing to adopt this one piece of functionality. And yeah, that's not as intimidating. It's like, oh my gosh. In fact, a lot of, our version 7 clients are like, oh man, we're going to have to learn a whole new system. It's actually not like that. That's one thing I'm pretty excited about and proud of the products team here for creating a way to do it so that they can bite off one little piece at a time. If that's what they want to do. You can keep using the old system and adopt the new stuff as you go.
And thinking about last week's episode where we had Adrian to talk to us about how to keep your database clean.
I miss her. I would miss you right now.
I know. He was so awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope if you haven't heard that podcast, go back and listen to it because it is super helpful. And in thinking about adopting change, if you run into a roadblock where our salutations are all messed up or our funds are all weird, or I can't pull this report because there's an issue with that, like reach out to us because there is probably an easy way that we can help you. I've thousands of duplicates. Like we're here to help you with that stuff, and we can most likely offer a service at the very least to help you, or just like a checkbox to click.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's all it needs, right? And I think that is also a fear that some organizations have. And I know that I did personally. Oh, our data is such a mess. How am I going to take on anything else? Well, your data is never going to get clean unless you start adopting change anyway. So living in a sort of a weird backwards way of doing things, you're never going to get to move forward. So you got to take one step at a time, maybe adopt the product, and then later clean up that data if that's what you got to do. Think about what your priorities are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We said that all the time in training where, hey, we've learned all these great tips and tricks, but like, I don't even know where to start. And I'm like, what are your priorities? What's the next thing that's going to go out? Like, who's the next group that's really important to communicate with that you got to make sure those addressing and salutations are in line? I know for me, I used to do like my maintenance queries and I'd like break them off into very specific sections. So I could be like, done. Done versus here's 5,000 records. Let me just set on these for the next month or so. So you kind of have to give yourself those little goals and something to, drive for.
Mm-hmm.
I like that when you think about priorities too, actually, that you just had a light bulb go on, Tara. Like if your priorities to raise $5 million in your next capital campaign, like, okay, that's the top big picture. How are you going to get there? And then start laying out a couple goals and tackle each goal. It's sort of like that debt thing, like take the smallest credit card first and pay that off.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, right?
It's an attainable goal, and that's one reason you make it a priority.
Don't bite off more than you can chew. Be realistic. There's nothing wrong with being realistic because you can actually accomplish that versus feeling like you're behind constantly.
Exactly.
Cool.
Well, I want to provide, so our goal for this is to be a continuous conversation. We're not going to talk about it on every podcast, but we would like to have some organizations that feel that they've adopted new solutions well or change well as guests. And I would also like to provide some resources around change management. So we are going to continue this conversation and give you guys some resources and some ideas, but hopefully this gets the juices flowing as to how to start making a little bit of change.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know a lot of times thanks Lauren for suggesting this topic. I love it. And we might even try to get, somebody who's a change management consultant who actually does it for a living to come talk to us. We'll find somebody. Sometimes we talk about what we're doing for the weekend, and I was just thinking a little bit about it. I'm going to meet up with my friend Erin, who's neighbors with Lauren, but she, just under the umbrella of philanthropy and giving and volunteerism and stuff, she's just one of these people that's just nonstop giving of her time and financially and that sort of thing. I'm always going, man, I need to be doing more. I mean, people like that make me go, golly, what? I mean, it's not a guilt thing, but I mean, I'm inspired. I want to go do stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, last week I started calling around to, like the homeless shelter, and they're just really not taking volunteers because of COVID, like Meals on Wheels and like the senior center and that sort of thing. It's harder with COVID. But anyway, Erin just gave her kidney to somebody last week. So she's,
Wow.
she's like doing all this giving stuff. And she's like, yeah. It had started with a friend of hers whose child needed a kidney, and she was a match, and she went through the process to be a kidney donor for that friend's child. But then the friend's child, I think, had some improvements and ended up not needing the kidney. But Erin said, I'm going to go ahead and give my kidney to a total stranger. And, like, I think the same day or the next day she got to meet, they literally like open her up, take the kidney out, and walk over to the next room and put it in that other person.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that mind-blowing? And then she was
mind-blowing. I see on like Grey's Anatomy.
Oh my gosh, dude. I didn't watch enough Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, I mean, I'm blown away, man.
Yeah, she got to like meet the woman who received her kidney, and like I'm sure they'll stay in touch. And and like what an improvement for that woman's life. It's just amazing. I just can't.
Yeah, that lady was going to die if she didn't get that kidney. I mean, she would have died. So
she had to go to dialysis like all the time, apparently. Yeah. It's just, it's so super cool. She's an inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my best friend's mom gave her kidney to her brother.
Is she really?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I would definitely give my kidney to my brothers for sure, if they needed it, of course.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot you go through, but I'm like, I've got two. If they're working, I'm happy to share mine too.
Yeah.
It's
a big commitment, but it can be done for sure, obviously. So that was
like you were saying, Tara, like giving now and asking for help. I think that like I don't know, this is a very deep conversation, but I feel like there's been a change in our society over like maybe the past 100 years where people just do not ask people for help. Like you don't go and you say, hey, will you watch my kids tonight? Or hey, could you help me with this thing? Or I'm swamped. I need whatever. Could you go to the grocery store for me? And I think that people offer, but nobody ever takes people up on it.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that with my, right now it's every parent is experiencing the conflict. Do I send my kid to school or not? And my nephew, he's my cousin, but he's basically like my nephew. He's 10. And they're saying like 10-year-olds could get sick. And so my cousin's trying to grapple with like, what should I do? And I work from home. So I was like, Max just comes over here. Like, that's what you need to do. And we were just talking about like, it's hard for her to accept help. But I think we all just need to be better about not just offering, but accepting it. Mm-hmm. So that's my commitment lately.
Sometimes it's harder to accept it, right? And actually just say, I can help you out.
Yeah, it is. I think it is. It's like a pride thing or something. I don't know what it is, but I'm committed to it. Yeah, and I'm going to offer it more too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's good stuff. All right. Well, other than that Erin party, and it's not really a huge party. She's back home from the kidney transplant. So that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Kidney party.
Yeah, the kidney party. Welcome home. Kidney, one less kidney party. And you've got company this weekend, Lauren. You've got like your father-in-law's
my father-in-law's
in town.
here.
Yeah. Right on.
I'm using it as an opportunity to be alone.
That's what they're there for.
Exactly. Like, Adam wants to hang out with his dad, obviously. And it's not that I don't want to, and I will, but, Adam's with Cece all day. So I do feel guilty often being like, hey, I'm going to go to yoga. But I'm going to yoga on Saturday morning. It's an outside yoga class. I'm going to do some gardening that I have neglected. And I'm going to take a couple walks all alone with Ruby. That's my plan.
Oh, yeah. That's
and I'm going to watch Shayne play on Friday.
Oh, I'm not playing on Friday.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I was thinking about going.
Oh.
No, there is some bluegrass band playing on Friday, but I'm not.
Oh, that must be what it was. You
sorry
said
about
you
that.
were interested.
I was thinking about going now.
Got it. That's fun. I'm going to see somebody play on Friday. Maybe I'll see Shayne there.
At the Common House. I might be doing that too, actually. Funny. What you doing, Tara?
Yeah, well, I was going to say my in-laws left on Monday, which makes me sad because we actually got a date night last week and we honestly couldn't tell the last time that the two of us just went out to dinner. So that was great. So this weekend, no plans. We'll see where the weekend takes us. Grouping from having, 4 extra set of hands to take care of everybody.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, I hope you have good weather, and I hope everybody has a good weekend. And I'll chat with you tomorrow, Shayne, about what we're doing tomorrow night.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, I'm rewinding the high line. Here we go. See y'all. It is a thing.
Silent disco.
Oh, yeah, Tara, that's good.
Oh, yeah, you got.
We need a bottle.